Joining me now is Diane Garrett. She's the CEO and president of Romarco Minerals. Diane, so good to catch up with you again this year.
Great to see you again.
Well, I'm excited to talk about the Haile, your Haile mine in South Carolina. So let's talk about what's new and exciting at Romarco.
Well, for the last year, we have successfully completed all of our permitting, and as of about a week ago, we successfully completed the equity portion. So we are fully financed and fully permitted, and we are starting to break ground right now.
Right. So how many ounces of gold do you think you're sitting on right now?
Today, in resources, we have 4 million ounces of M&I plus another 800,000 ounces of inferred. But keep in mind that we have not updated our reserve in about 3 years, and we have a lot of drilling that is being put into the model right now, and we'll be issuing a new reserve and resource update about mid-year of 2015.
So when can we expect production to begin?
18 months from now. It's about an 18 months construction cycle, so about the third quarter of 2016, we'll be pouring our first.
Let's talk a little bit about how the U.S. dollar, I guess the U.S. dollar strength has impacted Romarco.
Well, fortunately for us, we keep all of our money in U.S. dollars, and we spend in U.S. dollars. We're a U.S.-based asset, clearly. The negative for us is because we're a Canadian company, we raise our money in Canadian dollars. So when we recently completed our $300 million equity offering, the bought deal, it translated into about $230 million.
Ouch.
But as far as the project itself, we spend in U.S. dollars, so we're fine there.
And this project is interesting because it was a mine that was formerly closed, correct?
Correct. It's actually been mined off and on for about 200 years, this project. The only modern day mining was in the 80s, and it was a very small scale operation. So we came in, reinterpreted the geology, took a bit of a different view of the asset, and we've drilled out close to 5 million ounces now, and it's still a growing ore body.
See, that's what I find interesting is how does a former mine get a second chance? What made you think, you know what, maybe there's something really good under here?
Right, great question. Because in the 1980s timeframe, when this mine was producing, all of the majors were in this area exploring. And there were two main differences when we came in compared to the 80s. Number one, gold price is obviously a lot higher. But number two, there's a lot of pyrite ore here, and all the gold is tied up in pyrite. And at the time in the 80s, fine grinding technology did not exist, and everybody was heap leaching. And today it's almost old technology. So the technology has allowed us to liberate the gold economically, but we reinterpreted the geology very different from our predecessors, and we set about drilling it in a different way. And what we found, it is one massive system underneath what was being looked at in the 80s.
Now, Diane, I love asking mining CEOs what their present view is of the mining industry compared to last year. What would you say it's like?
I would say that there's a lot more optimism today than we saw last year. There's still an equal amount of skepticism. And we see gold being very, very volatile, which for most of us is a good indicator that it has reached its bottom. But for example, over the last couple of weeks, we've seen gold go from 1,200 to 1,270 and then back again. And so what we really need to give a boost to our sector is the generalist funds coming in and feeling confident that gold is in fact bottomed out. And when you have the big swings in gold prices that we've seen, over this past year and before, it makes people very nervous. So I think what we're going to need to see is gold prices holding their own within a very narrow bandwidth for a sustained period of time to give people confidence that we really are at the bottom of the market and then it's going to turn. And so I think that we could see gold trade in kind of this, 1,200 to 1,250 range for more of this year. But I think that, if you look historically at gold, I mean, it's a cyclical business, always has been, always will be, and the indicators are that it's reaching its bottom level right now.
And Diane, I guess getting back to the Haile mine, once it starts production, would you look for another project, or what would you take on next?
Yes, we are very excited about the area that we're in. With the hundreds and hundreds of historic gold mines in this area, it is not plausible that Haile is the only multi-million ounce deposit. They just don't occur that way. And we have spent the last 2 years with our geology team doing field work, looking at a lot of these historic mining areas that look very much like Haile did. A little bit of drilling in the 80s or even before then, maybe some small-scale production, but for the most part not. and where people drilled, and once they encountered the pyrites, they said, well, we can't process this, we'll go home. So we now have 3 other properties outside of Haile, and we have a list of 11 that we're in the process of acquiring now. So I think you're going to see this company grow organically in our own backyard, because this clearly, in our opinion, is very much a district play, much like Nevada was in the early 80s.
Well, fantastic, Dan. I wish you best of luck with the project.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it very
success.
much.
And thanks for watching our coverage here from Gold Stock Analyst Day. We'll have more for you, so stay tuned to Kitco.com. Thanks for watching.